everybody, so it's me, Mary again. I finally have time to film another video. And the reason I have time is because I'm not reading right now or watching television. I went to the library today, and what I did was I got 2 new books because there was a library sale, and then I grabbed another 2 books from the library. So I bought 2 from the book sale, and then I rented another 2. And then I realized I bought some books. I bought like 6 books last week. Like, it was bad. And I have all of these books that I need to read, yet I haven't read. So I am deciding to do an unhaul. And this is like 16 books or something, so grab some popcorn or something. It's gonna be a long video. Some of them are like series, so it's gonna be like 3 or 4 books at a time. Full disclosure, if these are some of your favorite books, it's nothing against you. It's nothing against like the author or anybody. I just personally either 1, didn't enjoy them, or 2, decided I'm not going to read these again. These aren't worth my time, or another reason that I'm actually going to bring up for one book series. So let's get started. The first one is a series, which is actually the Maze Runner series. And the reason I'm giving these away, I think a lot of us have kind of found this series as kind of dull at some points. Like, the first one didn't bring us in. The third one was just crap. I'm gonna say it's crap. I know a few other people who didn't like the last book. So I didn't find myself really wanting to read it again, really didn't care about keeping it. It's just like on my shelf. It's just on my shelf waiting to be reread when it's not going to be. And also the fact that James Dashner, some allegations came out against him a few months ago, just kind of solidified my fact that I need to give these away, because not only are the books not that well written, the author isn't so great. The next book is Paradise Lost. As you can tell, it's the Barnes & Noble Classics edition. I had to read this for a class back in senior year of college, and I just got around to never giving it away because I had to buy it myself, so I couldn't sell it back to the bookstore. I'd already read it, so I couldn't sell it back to Barnes & Noble. So I have to see if Half Price Books will take it. Let's hope they will. The next book is My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. I actually really liked this book. It was actually, I think, the first book I found that I related to a character, because it's a spoiler alert, so until my hand comes down, don't say anything, but don't listen. So I've actually found that this is that this book had a character that had epilepsy. So that kind of resonated with me because, as I've talked about in some previous videos, very rarely, that I have epilepsy too. So I liked having a book where I connected with one of the characters. Obviously, I wasn't a male. I do not have, my epilepsy isn't as severe that I need a dog. But it's definitely like a book that resonated with me. My hands down. But this book, I just don't feel like I want to reread, especially because it was for summer reading. So all of these notes are in the book, so I can't give it away, but I don't know what to do with it, and I just feel bad waiting for, like, just throwing it in the trash. So we're gonna see what happens with this book. The next book is a little dusty. It's called Chasing Vermeer. This is like one of my older books, and like it's kind of a mystery book. And the more I think about it, the more I think about it's not a book like, let's say, The Tale of Despereaux, where I'm gonna want to hand it down to my child. That just is not going to happen. From what I remember, it didn't keep me that occupied, so I think it's just time to give it away. I'm going to get so much crap for this next book. I swear that I would read this book because it's a companion to a series I really love, but at the same time, it's not the official one. It's the unauthorized, but I always told myself I'd read it, and then I never have, and it is the Twilight Companion, the unauthorized guide to the series. This has been sitting on my shelf for so long, I literally cannot remember how long it's been. Probably ever since a few months after the fourth book came out, which was, what, 2009, I want to say? 2008. It was 2008. So this has probably been sitting on my shelf since 2009, 2010, so that is around 8 years. I have probably read 3 pages of this 7 years ago. This probably ain't gonna happen. I have not yet read Life and Death, so I know this isn't, so it possibly would like reignite that flame for the Twilight series, but I don't think it would reignite it enough to warrant reading this. The next books are just a lot of books that I think people would like to have, because they are arcs. But for me, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna read these books. And then I thought about the fact that they were arcs and they weren't finished copies. They would have typos. They would have all these different things. And I just decided that, like, these are all out. These have all been all out for years and years and years. And I didn't know they were arcs when I picked them up, because I picked them up from my young adult class teachers. Like, she has a book thing every year. Like, she gives away a lot of books from like the YA convention she's gone to, like Y'all West, and so she just has them sitting around. So she has a lot of arcs, and when I went, I picked up a lot of arcs that I didn't know were arcs, and so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read these, and then I found out later these are arcs, and I tried to start them and it doesn't work. So I will get to the finished copies. They're on my to-read list for most of them, but first of all, it is The Witch Hunter. This I didn't find out was a arc for a long time. I am going to read this. The premise does sound interesting, but it's obviously going to be a finished copy. Again, disclaimer, I've kind of figured out I don't like arcs. It's just one of those things where I'd prefer the finished book, which really kind of sucks for people who actually like arcs, but I've just found that I'm that person who just doesn't. The next book is Girl Man's Up. I actually have no idea what this is about. Because when I went to Anderson's YA Book Fest back in 2016, I believe, I got this in a bag because they give a book away in a bag each day you go, and it's only 2 days. So the second day I got this one, and it's an advanced reader's copy, and it literally has nothing on the back. It does not tell you what this is about. So, one, the fact that I didn't know what it was about until I went on Goodreads and didn't really find it that the premise that interesting, and two, the fact that it was an arc really just solidified me not wanting to read it. The next one is Under the Never Sky. I will definitely, like I said, I'm going to get around to most of these. Girl Man's Up I will not get around to, and there's another book coming up that I will not read. But Under the Never Sky, I really want to read this book, but I just have never picked it up. This sounds like an interesting series, I just haven't picked it up yet. The next book is The Cemetery Boys, another arc. I have not gotten around to reading the full thing yet. Again, going to. And the last one is Anything Could Happen. It is the last arc. I thought I was going to read this and I got into a few pages and I was just like, this isn't, I don't like this. And it was funny because I was pulling it off my shelf today and I looked at it and like, anything could happen. And I'm just like, yeah, this ain't gonna happen. So I have 4 books left. The next book is the 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. I think I've read some of Maureen Johnson's other books. I just can't remember what they are. But this is a duology. And I read this so long ago. All I remember really about it is this girl was being sent anonymous letters by by this person and telling her where to go. And I don't remember the ending, and I don't remember what really happened. Basically, all I remember what happens is that premise and the fact that one little envelope gets lost. And that is because the sequel is The Last Little Blue Envelope, and I have been telling myself I'll pick the sequel up whenever I see it in the library, but then I never have, and so I'm like, there's really no point in keeping this if I'm not going to read the sequel. That's just kind of taking up space on my bookshelf that I could use for let's say Haunting the Deep. And the last books are actually a trilogy. Oh, these are heavy. I took these off my shelf and was just like, there's so much room. Oh my god. And it is the Matched series. So the thing with this is I think it was a really cool premise. I really wanted to read it. I read them as the books came out. Matched I thought was amazing. Cross was just hella boring. Let's be honest, all of us who read Cross, who liked Cross? If you liked your Cross, tell me in the comments. I really did not like Cross. And then Reached was just kind of one of those books where it kind of reached to make you happy, reached to want to make you keep reading. I personally had to force myself to keep reading this book to like the book or to end the series, because I don't really like not finishing series. I've done it many times. I don't know how many times, but I've done it many times. But these, I've looked at these, it was the same thing with Scorched Trials, except for the author, that I thought about. These books are amazing, these books are wonderful, I just don't want them on my shelf anymore, and these books are not going to make me happy. So I'm just gonna give these away. And I have been thinking about, I don't have it here with me right now, and I have been thinking about giving away Aragon because I finished it back in March? Did I include it in my February wrap-up? I can't remember, but I read it and I did not enjoy it. I thought I would. I really thought I would. I'd heard such great things about it. I really don't know if I'd give it away or if I'd keep it, because I think it's an interesting premise, and I've heard that the books are really amazing, but I just want to think about that a little bit more. For all of my books that I have in front of me right now, I definitely know I'm not going to be upset giving these away. But Aragon, I'm not entirely sure. So that is my book haul. Dear Lord, I was counting my books. I was just like, I only have like 20 more books to put on my shelf. And then I remembered I bought 6 last week, and I was just like, crap, this ain't gonna work. Well, technically one is a box set, because I went to this antique store with my family and they didn't buy anything, but I found Hardy Boys books, and I've never read Hardy Boys. And I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna think about this. And then I ended up buying the box set of like 4 books of the Hardy Boys, and I'm just like, okay, well, these are $5, but did I really need these? And the question is always, do I really need these books? And then you will always end up saying yes. And then we went to a used bookstore and I got 2 books and told my friend that on Monday, and she's like, I think it's impossible for you to walk into a bookstore and walk out without any books. I'm like, yeah, it's basically impossible, which is why I have over 200 books. Okay, so I am going to give away these books, obviously. And second of all, I am going to edit this video, put it up, and promise you guys that I'm going to make another video soon. How soon? I don't know. Okay, bye!